Welcome back to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. Imagine having a small numbers business. We're talking low six figures and growing it to a seven-figure business using social media. Social media is the most powerful and most cost-effective form of marketing today, where you can actually get your guests to market your business for you. Well, today's guest, Matt DoRight, bought an old 70-year-plus-year business, turned it around, and now he's got a huge social media following, and he's going to give you the keys to doing just that. So you're not going to want to miss this episode. Also, did you know that we've taken our popular Restaurant Academy training system and broken it into multiple individual courses? We have a course on leadership and accountability and building your dream team. We have a course on creating a mug club, but the biggest needle mover of all is our Menu Profit Accelerator, where we teach you how to maximize menu profit. You can't control labor costs, you can't control inflation, but you can control your menu profit, and it's all at restaurantrockstars.com. Now, on with the episode.
You're tuned in to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. Powerful ideas to rock your restaurant. Here's your host, Roger Bodwin.
Matt, welcome to the show today. I'm so psyched to have you here.
I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited too.
You have an interesting story, and it's going to revolve deeply around social media, and so few restaurateurs are experts at social media, so I know they're going to have a lot of takeaways. But first, it all starts with you bought a restaurant during the pandemic. Why?
I've wanted to own my own business since I was 9. My neighbor was an entrepreneur, and he set me and my best friend up a lemonade stand. And that day we both made $20, and I just remember looking at him going like, I get goosebumps talking about, this is it. Like, I want to do this. I don't know what it is. I don't know how I'll get there, but I've always been inclined like that. I used to, on snow days, my friends would want to go sledding, and I'd be like, let's go shovel driveways for a few hours. Let's get some money. Because I knew if there was 4 of us, I can knock on doors and talk to the people, and they'd be shoveling the driveway behind me, and we just go down the line like that. I've always been excited about that, and I never thought it would be restaurants. I'm probably the only restaurateur that would probably say that it hasn't been my lifelong mission. I started in restaurants when I was pretty young. So I've been in the game for 15 years. I started out in pizza like most of us do, at least here in Michigan. That's a lot of story with the cooks that I know, the chefs I know. And so I did that for about 5.5 years. In that process, when I was 22, I was on my 5th year, and the owners offered me equity to stay, just take on, I was like learning Facebook at the time, but like I wasn't really there. I didn't know as much as I do now, but I actually turned down that opportunity. I had a gut feeling that there was 5 owners. So even if we got it up to a couple million a year, it's like, how much would I actually be making splitting it 5 ways? Yes, you can blow up and franchise, and I just don't think that was their mission. So I turned it down, and I instantly regret it. For 6 months, I was like, you've wanted this your whole life. What are you doing, man? You should have jumped on this opportunity. But I had faith that if I just stayed patient and I kept putting in the work, that another opportunity would present itself. So fast forward, I got out of the pizza game, and I started to learn how to cook in more of a family style restaurant. And they took me from the pizza side over to the cooking side in about 2 days once they saw that I had the grasp of things. So I learned saute, I learned char. Fryers was obviously where I started, but
Yeah, you're versatile.
yeah. So I just my favorite job in the restaurant was always wherever they needed me the most. I didn't really have I need to be on char or I need to be on saute. As long as I'm here getting the job done, like that's where I like to be. So
What a great attitude. If every restaurant employee had that whatever it takes attitude, where do you need me? I'll dive in. I'll do my best at it. That's awesome. Obviously, you were recognized for that. Yeah, keep going. It's a good story.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think the same thing too is that's really what I tried to cultivate with my team is we don't have titles, we don't have jobs, we just help each other succeed, and we'll get through this day a lot faster than if everyone's trying to play their role. Fast forward, my brother actually hit me up, and he worked in fine dining, so steaks, lobster tails. It was a 7-location corporate restaurant at the time, and do you know anybody looking for a cook job? And I was like, I guess it's my time to jump ship. So I jumped there in 2019. And I worked there for about 1.5 years. And then we obviously know, I guess 2018, and then COVID hit in 2020. So all my friends got laid off. It was me, my brother, my general manager, my kitchen manager. We're running carryout. So out of 60 employees, there's 4 of us left trying to figure out who's going to order steak and lobster tail and to-go boxes.
No kidding.
But
Yeah.
yeah, And one day I was, again, whatever I'm needed, I like to do. And I was vacuuming the vents in the kitchen, the AC vents. And the owner walks in and was like, "What are you doing? And why aren't you in a management position yet?" And honestly, at the time, I was looking for my way out of the restaurants. Again, I didn't know what it was. I really wanted to open my own business. And he said, the restaurant next door, Red Knapps, about 1,500 square foot burger milkshake place, has been around for 70 years, is going up for sale. The owners right now don't know how to pivot. And would you like me to introduce you? So he really put me in position to succeed there, to get started. I was 26 at the time, and I didn't know how to read a P&L. I didn't know how to do a lot of the ownership stuff.
Important.
So
Yeah, the important
yeah,
things.
they're very important. Yeah.
Systems.
Exactly. But I was eager. I was like, this place has been around for 70 years. I'm just going to jump on it. And this is the time, like my gut was told me it was ready. And when I had the pizzeria opportunity, I wasn't ready at that time in retrospect. And this time I knew that I just needed
Timing
to
is
get
everything.
started big time for sure.
Awesome. Oh, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So the place was not performing. What did you do first? Like you bought this place and then you had to obviously triage and decide, okay, what's next? Was it social media? Was it marketing? Or was it up leveling the team? It's like getting everybody on board. Talk to us about those early couple of months when you first bought it. What did you do first? And then we'll get into your story.
Yeah, for sure. I think most importantly was I just tried to cultivate a vision. What are we here to do? And my goal was I want to build this thing up to the biggest we can make it. I want to make it a $10 million business. Is what I said.
Awesome.
1,500 square foot
You
burger
had goals.
joint. And so I got really excited, and I think it excited my team. So I'm very grateful that 90% of my staff has been with me for the last 5 years. We've cultivated something fun and exciting there, where my goal was to create a place they wanted to be and not where they had to be, because I've worked too many jobs where I was just like, I got to be here to make a paycheck. And I didn't want to do that. But I also knew the importance of social media. Before we got on this call, I told you I did audio before this. So I may not have any video experience, but I understood how to cut audio. And so I was like, okay, I know 2020, everybody should be on social media, and I got to figure this thing out. So I created a series to get Gordon Ramsay's attention, because I saw that he was roasting people's food online. He's, "Oh, you donut, you idiot sandwich." So I was like, all right, if I can get him to call me a donut, then we can do something fun here.
How'd you
So
get his attention? You got my attention. Gordon
Yeah,
Ramsay needs no introduction.
for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah.
What I did was I was like, okay, I need to create a daily series because I need to be posting every day. And I see he's roasting people's food. So I'm just going to start out like this. This is day one of getting Gordon Ramsay's attention by putting weird stuff in burgers. So I started every day just putting cotton candy and gummy worms and all types of just what are you doing type of food into burgers. And
So after
63
post,
days.
you're actually serving your guests all this stuff.
No, that was literally just for me, and
Okay,
like not
thank
to
you.
waste the food. I would
Gotcha.
eat it too. And
Oh,
so
gotcha.
I
Awesome.
didn't want to waste it, but it cultivated an audience over that time frame. People were so excited about this crazy mission I had that they would tag Gordon Ramsay every single day. So we had these huge list of comments of people tagging Gordon Ramsay. And then on the 63rd day, I'm sitting there scrolling on TikTok and I see his face pop up next to mine. And I'm like, whoa, we did it. This is crazy. Like, we got his attention. His video did 11 million views on his page. And that was our first 50,000 followers, was just by doing this daily series of something that almost seemed out of reach.
Wow. Now, is that different from the milkshake guessing game? Because we want to hear all about that too.
Yeah. So what's funny is, like, at the beginning, people would come in and ask for the spaghetti burger I made, and people really knew me as like the
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay guy, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And nowadays, like, people know me for the milkshake guy. But in between, over the last 5 years, I've had 22 different series go viral. So I've done a lot of testing to see what works, what doesn't, storytelling through food, getting famous people's attention. Like, and when I finally came up with this game that was like, nobody else is doing this. This is something that is me, uniquely me, and it's like from my own mind. And so the milkshake guessing game, let's have people come out from all across the country. And like I told you before, like, we've had someone come out from Australia. They were here for a wedding, but they had to stop by and come say something. So they watched the videos and they got a meal and everything. So we've been able to take this and now 75-year-old restaurant into a global brand in a lot of ways. And it's pretty cool.
Take on a life of its own.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is like genius. Like, you captured lightning in a bottle with this. This is awesome. So you've had amazing success with social media, but you're a content guy, right? So let's talk about content, because I think we
Yeah.
started by saying not everyone is a social media expert, but what would you suggest and what's made you most successful? And maybe it starts with the content, but it's also the unique ideas in your delivery and what to do and when to do it, all that. Tell us the whole, give us the whole background on that.
Honestly, like I know like in a lot of my videos and even doing these interviews, like people have a hard time believing, but I'm naturally an introverted person. So
I
like
would never guess that.
putting myself on camera,
Yeah.
like, was terrifying. Like, I'm a kitchen guy. So, like, when I opened Knapps, like, I was in the kitchen, but I also knew that to create a great restaurant, I had to be in the front of the house. So I had this small hallway where me and my brother would cook all the food, and then I'd hurry up and be like, and then I hype myself and I walk through this hallway, like, you got to talk to people. You got to just go say hi, go say hi. And so, like, I had to work through that. And really, it was the same thing with the content. I never saw myself as being like a public figure or anything like that. I just knew that I had to figure out a way to create content for my restaurant to get people's attention, because attention is the new gold. It's the new, when technology boomed, it's that now attention is where you need to be if you want to have a successful restaurant, because you could have the best product in the world, but if nobody knows about it, then you're just, sitting there waiting for people to show up. It was the same thing. Like, one of my early viral series was I had this red igloo cooler, and I would just walk downtown Rochester and I would ask people to try milkshakes. And at the beginning, it was like, hey, do you want to try a milkshake? And then people just look at me like, dude, no, thank you. And they walk away. And going back to the social media thing, is like, I realized that I needed a better pitch, or in social media terms, a better hook, right? Your
Yeah,
first
I
two
love the word
seconds.
hook. Yeah, we use that in
Yeah.
restaurants all the time. What are your hooks? What makes you set you apart from the competition? Unique, special, different. Yeah, so that's your hook. Yeah. What was the
Yes,
hook?
my hook originally was, "Do you want to try a milkshake?" And then I
Uh-huh.
realized I should probably introduce myself. "Hey, my name's Matt. I own Red Naps right down the road here. I'm just having people try some samples. Would you like to try a milkshake
There you
for
go.
free and give it a rating between 1 and 10?" And as soon as I changed the hook, 9 times out of 10, people said yes. And so I was like, boom, now I can go get 30, 40, 50 videos in a few hours time frame just by walking around. And it was really when I was in Target, which is a random place to ask people to try your milkshakes. But that video ended up doing 6.5 million views, and like people started coming in. Oh, I saw that Target video. I saw that Target video. So I was like, okay, there's something to this. And that series went great. I don't necessarily do it anymore. I'm not saying that I wouldn't, because I know that it works. But the benefit of the milkshake guessing game is people come in and ask. I only gave the first one away to create the video. And
Yeah.
so I was like, one of my regulars, I was like, can you just try this video idea with me? And they were gracious enough to say yes. And that video did 3 million views on Facebook, which I never had a video go crazy like that on Facebook before. And I was like, okay, there's definitely something to this. I just need to do more. But I just waited for the next person to come in and ask about the green milkshake thing. And at the time, it wasn't even green milkshakes. They asked about the milkshake guessing game. It has evolved over time, right? Again, going back to hooks, it used to be, this is the milkshake guessing game. If you can guess the correct flavor, you win a shake and a prize. Now, if you watch my videos, it's shortened. It's just, if you can guess the correct flavor, you win a shake and a prize. And why that's important is because what we're telling somebody in the first 2 seconds is, this is what you're watching, and this is what you get if you watch until the end of the video. If you can guess the correct flavor, this is what you're watching, and you win a shake and a prize. That's what you get if you watch to the end of the video, if somebody accomplishes that goal. So chopping it up, reiterating it. And again, they weren't green before. I had a guest come in, wanted to play, and then she's like, why don't you dye them like a different color so it's harder to tell? And I was like, oh man. So the community helped me evolve the series, and doing more reps in it helped it
Uh-huh.
evolve.
Cool.
And yeah.
That's a wild story. So, what do you do now to promote your place? And what social media? I know you're a big follower of TikTok and Instagram. Are those the platforms that you found to be most successful, not only for your restaurant, but you'd recommend them to others?
I argue you should be everywhere.
Okay.
I post on 8 platforms every day.
Mhm.
And the reason why is because I was stuck at 350 followers on Instagram for almost 3 years. And I just kept showing up every day, showing up every day. And then what happened when TikTok got so successful with organic reach, the rest of the platforms realized, oh, we need to play that game if we want to keep people's attention. So although my videos were doing really successful on TikTok, I wasn't growing on Instagram until they made that algorithm shift. And then my videos doing well on TikTok also did well on Instagram, right? It's the same videos posted everywhere. What used to take me 40 hours a week to like edit and film 7 videos, now it only takes me 15 minutes a day. And now people are coming into my restaurant versus me walking to Target or Oakland University, or
Right.
we get about 300 new people every single month just for coming in to play that game. And a lot of times it's either someone my age that wants to come in and play, or it's like a younger person that forces mom and dad to take them out to dinner. And you got a family of 5, that ticket average is way better. So I really look at it as a marketing expense, that $1.82 milkshake that I give away in these videos, because it's
Mhm.
free either way.
Sure.
I monetize off the videos. That video does 100,000 views. I made $100 on it,
Mhm.
and they paid for food. So like I made money on that too. So really $1.82 to acquire a new customer is a pretty good deal. And
Yeah,
obviously,
that makes sense. Are these all short-term video, short format videos, like really quick? And if so, what's the first thing you do to really nail them, get their attention, and hold that attention for so many seconds or not lose them? That's the key to it, isn't it? Restaurants sell tons of fried food, and your customers love it. But the hassles, hazards, and mess of fryer oil, cleaning hoods, and all that grease, well, you can forget all that with restaurant technologies. They deliver your oil, filter it, monitor usage, collect and recycle your waste cooking oil. Their AutoMist system automates your hood and flue cleaning, eliminating the fire risk. As a Restaurant Technologies customer, you'll also save 10 to 15% in your insurance premiums, plus get a bonus for new customer referrals. Get started at rti-inc.com or call 866-399-3639. Listen, don't lose birthday business to your competition. People celebrate birthdays 7 days a week. The check averages are high, and when they have fun in your place, they'll come back again. Talk to my buddy Dyson. He's an operator also, just like you and me, but now he runs a done-for-you birthday club. Go to jointhebirthdayclub.com/birthday rockstar. It's a piece of cake.
oh, for sure, without a doubt. It really goes down to your first 2 seconds. Like I said, if you can say everything they need to know in that first 2 seconds, they're going to decide if they want to watch the video or not. If we decide something's good, that doesn't mean it is. Like the market decides what is good. And that's what I found with my video series is, yes, I've had to tweak some things to help them stay consistently viral. But the reality is if the video concept itself is good and the market decides it's good, then, you're going to have traction with it. So I've came up with probably 100 different series that I didn't execute on, but I wait for that one where my gut's, you need to at least try it and just get out there and see what happens. And generally when my gut tells me it's a good idea, as long as I'm consistent with it, then that's a key thing. Because a lot of people don't realize if you're not posting every day, you're doing yourself a disservice. Most people spend 7 to 8 hours a day scrolling on their phone. So if you post one video every 3 days, you're lost in hundreds of thousands of videos potentially in that few day span from someone just swipe. So really to keep the most attention, like I try to post my best growth has happened when I was posting 4 times a day consistently for months.
Okay, so if you're posting every single day, multiple times a day, is it a combination of things? Are you showing photos of the food? Are you showing photos of your guests having a great time? Is it a shock value thing? Is it a laugh? You laugh at the beginning of it to, why is this guy laughing? I heard that was a key to doing something. Like, how do you stay consistent yet uniquely memorable when you're posting so often without getting old and tired? Do you keep coming up with new ideas all the time? Do you repeat things? Like, there's a whole strategy to this.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I've had 22 different series go viral over 5 years. So
Yeah.
right now, people know me as the milkshake guy. Before they knew me as the burger guy, before they knew me as the guy with the red cooler. I
Yeah.
think where you're at in life is where you should be. Like if I get excited about a series, I have no problem being consistent because here's the thing: is like if we think it's drawn out and we think it's too many, the chances of somebody seeing more than one video in a day is probably pretty low. Right? So if
Okay,
I'm
that's good
posting
to
four
know.
times a day, I'm just out there more, right? I pretty much gave people no choice but to see my videos by posting this often. But again, the reality is like if someone likes it, they're going to follow along. If someone likes it, they're going to want to watch another video. And if they don't like it, then they're not the person for you. And maybe they'll like the next video series. But the reality is I try not to think about what other people like too much. And I like to think about, is this fun and exciting for me? So most of my video series stopped when it stopped being fun for me. So I was like, okay, now it's time to cultivate something new. I want something that's different. I've been thinking about this idea for a while. Maybe I give it a try. I don't think you can post too much. There's a Mr. Beast is.
Yes, I've heard of Mr. Beast, but tell us.
Okay. Yeah, so Mr. Beast is the largest YouTube creator in the world. And he recently collaborated with the largest India channel, YouTube India channel. And he showed Jimmy, Mr. Beast, his TikTok. And he would post 100 times a day. Jimmy's, are you serious? That's a lot. And he's, yeah, but look, we do 9.2 billion views, right? So no matter how many times you think is too many times a post, those guys are doing it at a way higher level and they have proof that this stuff is working. So I try to just look at the people doing it at the highest level and just try to emulate those things. The reality is when I was passing out milkshakes on the streets, like I didn't come up with that. Costco was doing that way before me, giving away free samples. That's all I was doing, except I was videotaping it. And then I was getting a real life Google review in a lot of ways because people were telling me if they loved it or they hated it. So like I just fused those two things with that idea. And I know most people restaurant owners aren't going to want to be running around the streets and Target and passing out samples. I get that, but that's why you can storytell through food. One of my most recent videos, I was like, I got to just test some things in. I made a sloppy Joe, and I started with the hook is you probably won't see a sloppy Joe on most menus. And then I went in to say that because when I first took over, the sloppy Joe was on the menu, but I was like, who's going to order a sloppy Joe? Until people literally started walking out on me because they wanted their sloppy Joe back. So I brought it back on the menu and people showed me why they wanted it so much. So like I didn't show my face. I showed me chopping up some beef on a grill and throwing some sauce in there and just putting the burger or the sloppy Joe together. But I just storytelled through the food. And so my hook was, you probably won't see a sloppy Joe on the menu. So it gets people thinking like, have I seen a sloppy Joe on the menu? And then if the story's captivating enough, they're going to watch to the end of it. But that probably put up 500,000 views across platform. And going back to the whole platform thing, Instagram and TikTok are my most popular, but YouTube's just a little bit behind it. And we're having good growth on there right now. And also too, I have 22 followers on Twitter or X. And I ask people when they come in, because they'll say, oh, I watch the videos. They're so awesome, things like that. And I'm grateful when people do that, or when they're playing the game, I ask like, where do you watch on? And I've had multiple people tell me they see me on Twitter, 22 followers. So I'm like, if I'm not showing up there, that person may not have came in, because the reality is people use 1 to 3 platforms. My buddy Michael only uses Twitter. And then there's some people that only use Instagram, some people that only use Facebook. So if you're not everywhere, you're not reaching everybody.
That's great advice. What about a budget and a spend? Like you got to boost these posts to get the maximum number of eyes on it, or tell us about monetary spend and how important that is.
What was important for me, like I took over in 2020 and I came from working in restaurants. My parents don't have money. So like I really bootstrapped this thing. Like I started the entire business with 30 grand, and that was like terrifying because, oh crap, I got to pay people $6,000 this week. And then I got to get money coming in.
That's
So
bootstrapping.
first, yeah. And so it's like, and I can't have anyone in the dining room. So I did things like downtown Rochester is where I'm at, and they do these lights, 1.5 million lights. They decorate the entire town, and there's always a lot of foot traffic, and especially because like people want to be out during COVID. So I took hot chocolate and donuts outside, and I sold stuff outside, so I had a second source of income. But as far as like cost, man, I have shot everything to this day on an iPhone. I use a free editing software called CapCut. Did invest 2 years ago into Pro. So out of the 5 years, 2 years ago, I've been using Pro just because I like the captions feature, but it's $89 for the year. So you want to get started.
That's effective. Wow. Huge.
For sure. Yeah. And all my videos have just been cost of food. So we know as restaurant owners, our $11 burger isn't costing us $11.
Yep, cost.
So basically that's all I did is, when I made free samples, that was my $1.82 milkshake. Every green milkshake, $1.82 that I give away for free. But it generally comes back on average to about $146 in food bought in-house, not including I get paid from my views on TikTok. So if that video does 1 million views, that $1.82 just brought me in $1,100. So that's like my big thing is like, I haven't really had to invest any money, and I was pretty intentional about not doing it.
Yeah.
Smart. I want to elevate my content. So like I am coming out with a podcast with a crazy intention, just like Gordon Ramsay and getting his attention, but to get Michigan a Michelin rated state. I want to get them to create a chapter out here. And I think if I create a video based podcast where I'm highlighting the best foods in the state of Michigan based on how they judge, I'm going to be able to accomplish that goal. And I think that's something, going back to content, that's something fun and exciting for people to get excited about. This guy actually do this. This seems like far-fetched. That's a crazy
do it.
Yeah. And I really hope so. And the cool thing is when I started doing my research for this is Michelin was actually in Detroit and gave the Shinola Hotel a key. And that's like a huge step towards, what I'm doing here. So I'm like, if they're already here sniffing around, I can just bring the views to it and
got a foot
tell
in the
them
door
why.
there. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's funny. You've come a long way because you talked about being an introvert and you're not a shy guy. And clearly you do the things and you put yourself out there. You get yourself in the room. I can see you being like a celebrity TV guy doing restaurants someday, but this is awesome. What about algorithms? This is something I've never understood. How often do algorithms change on different platforms and how does that affect you delivering content when once it was effective and then all of a sudden something flips upside down and it's no longer going to work? That's something I don't understand. And maybe my audience doesn't either.
No, for sure. I try not to focus too much on the algorithms because then you're gonna go crazy. I just try to make really, like, entertaining or educational, valuable content that somebody might be interested in trying. The algorithms are gonna change regardless, right? So, like I said, for almost 3 years, I was posting on Instagram with 300 followers and no growth, no nothing. But when the algorithm shifted, it blew me up. It brought me to a really cool spot, and I'm grateful for what it did. But here's the other side of it. The algorithm changed again, and most people aren't growing. I don't know if you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, but he
Absolutely,
just
everyone is. Yeah,
he
he's another
changed my
Gordon
life.
Ramsay, but not necessarily in
Mhm.
this space. But yeah, for sure. Such an
100%, yeah.
influencer, such a powerful media guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he recently was on with somebody was like, "Oh, I'm getting good views, but I'm not growing on Instagram." I'm not growing either. I'm losing 1,000 followers every week." And he said, "It doesn't matter." He said, "The reality is if you're providing value, you're gonna get across the board." And I believe the same thing because I'm still, like I said, I'm having 300 new people come out to my restaurant every day, whether the Instagram algorithm is going hot or TikTok's hot. My cousin or my wife's cousin, he runs a page called Vanguard Motors and they do classic cars. And he's been doing it since 2013. So he started off and just grinded. This organic reach didn't happen till 2020, 2021, and 22, somewhere in that pocket. Regardless of the matter is he built up an audience of 8 million people across platform. And he says the same thing. It's just you just got to keep going. Sometimes Instagram's going crazy, and sometimes TikTok takes the lead, and then YouTube goes crazy. But the reality is just like they're gonna ebb and flow as long as you just focus on creating good content, which good content shouldn't mean a $3,000 camera and the lighting setup. And no, good content is something that people want to watch. Like you're not selling anything on organic. So focus on just entertaining and educating people instead of come to my restaurant and buy my thing. Save that for the ads. If you're running ads, like that's
Yeah.
definitely the move to do. Create a good proof promise plan guideline for your ads. That'll work. But for organic, just try to have fun with it. If you're not having fun, no one's gonna have fun watching it. If you're just trying to make money off of it, people are gonna smell that, and that's why, like, my content, I try to not sell, like, it was mainly brand awareness for the longest time. And now with this milkshake game, like, it's entertaining. Like people like watching it. And like I had a lady in her 70s come and play. She didn't want to be in a video, but she said, "I watch you on YouTube and I think this is a great idea." And I'm like, this literally reaches everybody, right? And that was my biggest problem when I opened Red Naps originally, is like my main demo for the first year was 65 and up. And I'm like, that's not going to last forever. It's not sustainable. A good idea is when you're creating content, think of who you're talking to, right? And when I needed to talk to somebody younger, I went to Oakland University. That's like a mile up the road, a couple miles up the road. And I went there to the university to talk to college students. My goal was to just sit there and have them try milkshakes at the time. But the reality is that started getting shown to the people like, oh, I see, oh, that's my friend. Or I have a class with them, or oh my gosh, this. And so they started sharing it to that community. So really our main demo now is families with kids, and it wasn't that before. And so I created an awesome kids menu that was like super affordable compared to like where we're at. So take a little loss on that to get people in the door, but everybody ends up buying a milkshake. $8 milkshakes across the board. Like I said, the ticket average goes, it always works out.
Fantastic. You've just given us a crash course in content creation, social media, standing apart, hooks, all those things are super powerful. Let's talk about some other things that make you successful. Are you focusing in on training your teams and finances and KPIs and all that kind of stuff? What else are you doing besides the marketing piece? Because it's all important for operations.
Yeah. See, my thing is with my team is I knew I was hiring a younger team. This is like a younger place to work, high school, college. But I also wanted to be intentional with my kitchen. I didn't necessarily want to have high school and college kids come in, although everyone around me was telling me, "Oh, you need to have lower wages in these young kids." And I was like, no, I'm gonna take my friends from fine dining that wanna help me build this thing. I'm gonna pay them livable wages, and we're
Nice.
gonna figure this thing out. So my kitchen is very well versed, 14 to 25 years of cooking experience per individual, and mostly in fine dining. So they know how to
Wow.
execute a burger or a milkshake.
Sounds
and
like
stuff
The Bear.
that.
You watch that TV show?
I love that. That was a great show. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
It's oh my God, there's so many similarities there, right? The fine dining piece to the sandwich shop, and it's yes,
Mhm.
chef, and it's wow, there's so many key learnings there. And it sounds like you're doing a lot of that yourself. Keep going. It's great.
Yeah, and with my younger staff, I knew that they weren't gonna be around forever, right? A lot of these guys are gonna be graduating high school, going off to college, or in college locally and moving on. So with them, instead of really trying to teach them restaurant stuff, I really tried to inspire them to look at this time frame as an opportunity to learn how to be successful in other industries. So I really gave them a lot of free range to be themselves, but instead of me teaching them restaurant stuff, I tried to teach them more life stuff. Think about investing and setting up a Roth account, and like
Smart.
my
Life
mom's
skills.
big, like exactly, and stuff that I know that when they move on, a lot of these guys have a strong work ethic, and they just fell into my lap. Really, I got really lucky with my team. So I was like, when we need to operate at the highest level, every single one of them is just locked in. So I made just more lax rules. Like when there's downtime, I'm not going to have you on the floor with a toothbrush. We keep the place clean. We have our cleaning list. We hit our core stuff. Our number one compliment for the entire first year was how much cleaner it is compared to what it used to be. And it was just a simple checklist of things that we knew on the go. So yeah, as
Mhm.
far as training, like I just wanted them to really be themselves. Like we have our hooks when we talk to a table, but then I'm just like, just be you. If you're having a bad day, you don't have to tell them you're having a bad day. If they ask how you are, you can say, I've had better days. And you know what? That almost always translates to a
It's
great
genuine.
conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I don't know. That's my approach. And
Thank
maybe
you.
I'm not right up on it, but yeah,
It's working for you. You're doing a lot of you're doing a lot of the right stuff. This has been fantastic, Matt. I love speaking with you today. Thanks for being on the show.
of course. I appreciate you having me on.
Fantastic. Thanks for being with us and thanks for being on the show. That was the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. Thanks so much to our audience for tuning in. Thanks our sponsors this week. Can't wait to see you in the next episode. Stay well, stay tuned, and I will see you then. Listen, what would it feel like to lower your operating costs, double your sales, lower staff turnover, create raving fans, and design a menu that literally prints money? Our online restaurant training system will teach you and your staff to rock your restaurant and transform your business. Head on over to restaurantrockstars.com. It'll take you less than 5 minutes to get started. You've got this.
Thanks for listening to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. For lots of great resources, head over to restaurantrockstars.com. See you next time.